Good morning. For those of you who heard me at breakfast and have to sit through it twice, I apologize. For those of you who traveled to Pennsylvania a couple of months ago and was here at breakfast and have to sit through it the third time, I truly apologize. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation. All you get today is me. How many of you know where Greene County is? Greene County is the cornerstone of the Keystone State of Pennsylvania. We are bordered to the south by West Virginia and to the west by the Panhandle of West Virginia. So we like to say, if West Virginia is almost heaven, guess what Greene County is? We have a population of about 40,000, and I was born and raised in Greene County. I love it dearly. My 2 children live in Greene County. My 2 grandchildren are being raised in Greene County. I ran for county commissioner because I want Greene County to be better. I am a public servant who truly believes I have a responsibility to leave my county better for the next generation than I found it. Coal is our lifeblood, has been for 100 years or more. It is no accident that we have the Coal Festival, the Coal Parade, the Coal Queen. The Coal Queen travels to Harrisburg, meets the governor, meets the state legislature. It's a big deal. Extractive industries we have been used to. When the gas industry, the Marcellus Shale particularly, was going to hit in Greene County about 2007, were we prepared for it? Absolutely not. Are we used to the gas companies being around? Yes. Shallow well drilling's been going on in Greene County for many, many, many years. But there was a single moment when I had a gentleman come to my office back in 2007 who worked for a local bank, community bank. And he said, Pam, the president of our bank believes that this Marcellus Shale gas industry landing in Greene County is going to be huge. We would like to form a collaboration. We would like the county to be a part of that collaboration along with Waynesburg University. Waynesburg University is our only institution of higher education in Greene County. It's one of our crown jewels. He wanted us to partner with them, form a coalition in a 3-county area, and start the Tri-County Oil and Gas Expo. We would each put up $1,000 to get it kicked off and started. Talked about it with my colleagues and we said, sure, this is probably a really, really good thing to do. And as I look back on everything that's happened in Greene County, with the industry being there, I do believe that was the single moment of the best decision I've ever made. Because in a county like Greene, it is hard to get information out to the masses. It is hard to bring the public along with you. This enabled us to do that, to bring the public along. We had property owners who were having their doors knocked on by multiple companies. You know, stories that my neighbor's getting this and this one's offering me this and how do I do this? They really didn't know where to turn. So the first thing we did as a coalition was have an expo at the Greene County Fairgrounds just for that, for landowners, so that they could come and they could interact with the industry. The industry, they paid to set up their booths. They paid to rent space to bring their equipment in. We had panels of people there that could educate the public, to answer their questions, to interact with them, just like you're doing here today. We had no idea how that event was going to go off. 2,000 people came through the Greene County Fairgrounds that day. We were amazed. And it helped property owners immensely. At that moment in time, we knew we were onto something, and we knew we needed to keep that train going, and we did. The next we did was a business-to-business expo. We thought, if the industry's going to be here, how can our small businesses capitalize on this? What can they do to get a foot in the door, to make an extra buck, to help them survive? So we had a business-to-business expo, and again, a huge success. It enabled our small business owners, whether you were an electrician or a plumber or a local attorney or whatever, it gave you the opportunity to come to interact with the industry and to learn how this could help them. Then what we knew, okay, the industry's coming here, they're bringing folks with them, and that's all you heard. You know, the Marcellus Shale people, they're bringing them in from Texas, Oklahoma, Wyoming. How is this good for Greene County? Well, you know, they had to bring her because we didn't have a trained labor force. You just heard Ms. Rita talk about that. You know, the information she provided to you today, wonderful. You know, she has information that will help keep your county and Ohio ahead of the curve. You've got to learn how to get the information out there to the public, and I'm sure her organization is doing that tremendously. But we then decided to have a job fair, and that's what we did. The third one was for anybody who wanted an opportunity in the industry to come and interact and see what it would take to get a job. Our local community college was able to secure a huge grant from the state of Pennsylvania. They worked with the industry to identify what kind of jobs were going to be needed and what it would take to train our workforce. And I am here to tell you, 5 years later, our unemployment rate is at 6.4%. The state rate in Pennsylvania is over 7 and the national rate is over 8. Our unemployment numbers have been at an all-time low. The quarter before this, it was at 5.9. Lowest that it's probably ever been in Greene County history. And it is in a large part because of the Marcellus Shale gas industry being there. A recent study out of Pennsylvania just did an analysis on sales tax revenue increases. 67 counties in Pennsylvania, Greene County was second in the highest rate in sales tax increase, 31.4% increase. For a county our size, I cannot begin to tell you what that means. Our small businesses, our mom and pop stores, our gas stations, I go to work about 6:30 in the morning. Our local Sheetz in Waynesburg, our county seat, you can't pull into a gas pump without waiting. You can't get a cup of coffee without waiting. You can't get your MTO sandwich without waiting. And that's happening in every restaurant, every gas station, every grocery store in the county, every small business, hardware stores, everything. The increase in sales is tremendous. So with every opportunity comes challenges, and with every challenge comes opportunities. I believe that the opportunities of this industry being a part of our community far outweighs the challenges. Now, you probably want to know what some of the challenges are, and I will go through a few of them for you. One for sure is housing. You know, Greene County, we've always been challenged. You know, we were challenged with housing opportunities before the Marcellus Shale hit, but now it has escalated on a couple of different levels. First of all, every hotel room is booked. We don't have that many hotels. Right now we have 2 new hotels being built because our hotels are filled. A study about a month ago showed 54 pieces of property for sale in all of Greene County. That's it. So we don't have a lot of places left for people to buy, and what landlords are finding and realizing is they can get a lot more money for their property than they could 2-3 years ago. So it gives you a challenge for people who can't afford high rent, who were renting maybe some of these places. They're now being displaced. So we're working toward finding transitional housing in the county. In fact, we have a county project right now where we are building transitional housing. That can become a challenge, but we finally, for the first time in my 8.5 years as commissioner, have housing developers knocking on the door. People who want to do projects in Greene County. That's never happened before in this kind of mass quantity. So I see an opportunity here for Greene County to increase its tax base. The only source of revenue we have in Pennsylvania as a county is property tax. It's the worst kind of tax to raise on people, especially if times are tough. This is an opportunity for Greene County to increase its tax base with new homes and new businesses going up. The other challenge that we do face is we do have a lot of new companies that are coming in, and a lot of them want to build and expand in Greene County. We're challenged with industrial property and where we can put them. And we have lost a couple of them to neighboring counties because we don't have the land available in our control to offer to these companies. So we're working right now with Consol Energy. They own a lot of property in Greene County from their coal mining activity, and we're working with them to try to form a public-private partnership on an industrial piece of property that they own so that we have some industrial sites that companies can locate on. The other challenge that You've heard a lot here today from Bob and other folks about the water. Everybody's concerned about the environment. Everybody's concerned about water quality. Everybody's concerned about, like I said, leaving it better for the next generation. Are we concerned that, the industry is impacting water? Well, you're always concerned about that. We're concerned about that with the coal mining industry. But in Pennsylvania, the Department of Environmental Protection, a state agency, is who our regulatory arm is for that. They're the policing agency for that. And they have always made companies adhere to air quality and clean water standards, before the Marcellus and during the Marcellus. Now, we did have a case where we had a hauler who did illegal dumping. He was arrested, he pled guilty, and his sentencing hearing was just last Friday. Those kind of things cannot be tolerated. And that's what we rely on the DEP to do, to make sure that those types of things aren't tolerated. We encourage people, if they see a truck dumping and they think there's something wrong, to call. Even if there's not, it's better to be safe than sorry. We, at our county level, our soil conservation department, we awarded a grant to a local environmental group, the Isaac Walton League. They have trained volunteers that monitor the creeks and streams. They put that information on a website, and if they find a problem, they contact DEP immediately, and they're just extra set of eyes and ears for the DEP, and that has worked very well. Greene County has been challenged for many, many years, and the one thing that I have always wanted to change is the complexion and the attitude of others about my county. For years I have heard, Greene County, one of the poorest in Pennsylvania. Greene County, unemployment, nobody works there. Greene County, everybody's on welfare. Drives me crazy, because I think Greene County is the best kept secret in all of Pennsylvania. I couldn't pick a better place to raise my family. Well, roads and bridges. Talk about that a little bit and connect to you what I just said. Greene County, there's a program in Pennsylvania where you get 100% funded on your bridge repair. We have 87 county bridges, and we have always gotten 100% funding from the state and the federal government. Those numbers are based on poverty and unemployment rates, whether or not you qualify for that 100% funding. Well, a new map came out last week. It's all color-coded, real nice. I should have brought that for the PowerPoint. And Greene County's in the white-colored counties, like almost all by ourselves down here in southwestern Pennsylvania, except for Allegheny and Westmoreland. We're never the same color as Allegheny and Westmoreland for anything. So I'm looking at this map, and then I go over to the east, and we're in the same color code as Dauphin and Montgomery, where Harrisburg is, and the state capital. And that's exactly what the map was. What the counties that no longer qualify for the 100% funding because you are not poverty stricken and your unemployment numbers don't meet the standard. And I was so excited. I'm like, yes, finally, Greene County, we're not the poorest. Look at this map. And it hit me. Oh my God, I gotta come up with the 20% now to fix all the bridges because we don't qualify for the funding anymore. So it is a double-edged sword. The industry does impact the roads and the bridges, but as Bob had said, on the township roads, I know myself, there's a lot of drilling going on in my township. And I can tell you, on the township roads that I live on, the roads are in better shape when they're done than they were before they started. Industry has been in Greene County now for about 6 years. Do you know how much revenue we as a county received in those 6 years because the gas industry was there? 0. Pennsylvania doesn't have a severance tax. We had no way to collect 1 cent. We have a governor who took a no tax pledge. But this year, our state legislature, with the governor, adopted legislation, and we have now what we're calling an impact fee. We're going to get revenue now to impacted counties, impacted municipalities, and there's a provision in there also for non-impacted municipalities. within the county where the drilling is occurring. And I can give you a perfect example. And some people say, why would a non-impacted municipality be getting money? Well, let me tell you why. Waynesburg, our county seat. There will never be a well drilled within the confines of the borough of Waynesburg because it is just all residential. It's where our university sits. It's where our only hospital sits. But it is also the main artery that connects the eastern end of the county to the western end of the county. The truck traffic has increased immensely. It flows through the streets of Waynesburg Borough every day. That is a non-impacted municipality, and they deserve the funding to help address what's happening in their municipality because of the truck traffic. So we now do have legislation in place that is going to generate some revenue for the counties and municipalities, and it's going to help immensely. Greene County this year, our projection for this year is that we will receive $3.3 million. Another $5.8 million will be divided among the municipalities. Those are big numbers. And I have people say, what are you going to do with $3 million? And I say, have you redone a bridge lately? You know, $3 million won't go very far. The state has outlined for us what we're allowed to spend this money on. Roads, bridges, water, sewage, human services. Got to be careful. When I saw the list, I knew what the logic was. I'm allowed to use impact money now for human services, and in the state budget coming down here at the end of the month, they wanted, the projection is a 20% cut in human services funding to the counties. So while we're going to get it over here, they'll find a way to take it away a little bit over here. But we're going to have to see how this year shakes out and see if the money comes flowing in the way we hope, and hopefully it will help long term. I am here to tell you as an elected official in Greene County, I get asked many times, what about the crime rate? What about human services increase? Do you see more people in your jail? I will tell you, absolutely not. We have not seen an increase in crime. You know, it is not like, you know, I think there's some people who think you got these people coming from Texas and they've got a gun on each hip and, you know, they come into like the wild, wild west. It's not that way. These guys come in, they're working 14, 15, 16-hour days. At the end, they're tired. They are tired. And we have RV parks popping up all over the county because with the pipelines being built, those transient workers, that's what they live in. They live in their RV vehicles. So the challenges are there, but the opportunities far outweigh the challenges. And I will close by saying this. I've been commissioner for 8.5 years. 8 years before that, I worked for a United States congressman. I always wanted to take what I learned working a 5-county region, and I saw how successful other counties were doing things, and I wanted to apply it to Greene County. And that's why I ran for commissioner. I love Greene County. I tell people all the time, to me, I approach what I do as a county commissioner the same way I do motherhood. I nurture it, and I want it to grow, and I want it to grow and be healthy and successful, just like I do my children. And I am happy to tell you that I think we are finally there. But every day and every week when I go to church, I pray that my county will be stronger and better. And I don't think it's any accident that my parish is St. Marcellus. And that's the truth.